Hello there, Pro Stylers. Now I'm going to go into the Duplicator because we were talking about that. Some people needed some assistance with figuring out how to do all that. So, first thing we're going to do is get the plugin. All you got to do is do a search for Duplicator. This is the Duplicator. Here's the icon for it. For those that don't know, we're going to go ahead and install that now. Activate the plugin. Now the other thing that you're going to need to do, which I'm just going to make a directory for this, is you should make a directory for whatever it is. In this case, I'm just going to make this called test folder. You're going to want to go to your, I'm doing this offline, so you guys will probably need to go through your cPanel or FTP to your site. You're going to need a file called wp-config. Since all mine's offline, I use a program to do it. Let's see, where is it? Give me 1 second. Just trying to find the directory I'm looking for. I use a program called XAMPP for offline stuff. Everybody can use whatever. You always go into your htdocs. In this case, Wordpress install 1 for me. And then what I'm going to need is I'm going to need wp-config. So you're going to copy that, put it on wherever you want, whatever directory you're needing it in. I'm just going to paste it into here. I don't really need to do all this. Now to open this, like I said, I highly suggest getting that Notepad++ that I talked about in a previous video. It's easier to read stuff. You can do it whichever way you want. Now here's going to tell you what your database name is, what the username is, in this case is root, and the database password, which in this case is blank. I'm doing this again offline. I'm not showing you guys anything else that's on a live site. Now remember, in all this, whatever your password is for the website you currently have it installed to, be that offline or online, if you have a password set up, it's going to be the same password to log in when you have to go to your WP admin panel or wherever you have your login set up to. Alright, now we got that open. Okay, I'm going to go back and start this over. I started to do something and somebody came to the door, so instead of going ahead of everybody here, let me just go back to Duplicator. We're going to do create new build. So what this will do is this is going to scan your site. There's different options that you got in here, different snapshots you can do and whatever. I don't have the pro version. You can enable filters and stuff, but I don't have any reason to put filters on. Different settings in here, but under this circumstance, all I'm doing is going to click next. It's going to start doing a scan on our site. As you can see, total size and everything in this archive is good. I don't have a whole lot on there. The build node is PHP slow. Everything seems good, so I'm going to create build. Sorry about the dogs barking in the background. They make a lot of noise. I'm trying to get this video done without them being in the middle of it, but as you can see, though, this is starting to do the build. Now you're going to have two things that you're going to need to download. I suggest downloading them to the same path where you already had. It could be test or the name of the website that you're backing up. These are also good to have as backups. Say anything happens to your customer site, everything's backed up, so you got it. You can bring back up their site in seconds, which is a heck of a lot easier than going through the whole mess of redesigning everything again. That's up to you guys, but highly suggested to always back up sites that you do. That way if they mess them up or anything, you can just bring them right back up. So I'm going to download these files to the test. So one, you're going to have an installer PHP, and then you're going to have an archive file. Sizes could vary depending on your site. All my downloads are completed because it's all local, so it's real quick. Let's go and let's say this site just crashed and we got to get this site back up. So I'm going to actually crash this site on purpose just so you can see what I'm talking about, how this works, because I don't feel like running a whole bunch of different directories. If you go to a new site, it's going to do the same thing. So let's see here. I'll show you guys how this works. So in this case, this is going to be htdocs. This is going to be the WordPress one. Let's say all this got wiped out. This is how you have to do an install too. You got to blank everything out anyways. So what you're going to do is just whatever site you're going to can just be a blank directory. As you see, there's nothing there. Now if I go back up here and I try to go like I was into this website here, obviously it's not going to load anything because there's no files there. See, objects not found. Now you're going to go back into the test directory where you just put these files. All you need to copy is these two files. Keep your WP config because you're going to need the info from it. So all you're going to do is copy these files over to that directory. Where is it? These dogs would be quiet and make life a lot easier. Alright. So here's the blank directory. We're going to paste those two files in there as you see. When you go to the installer PHP is what you're going to be running. So for example on here, you're going to go to the main directory, type in installer.php. Always connect and remove all data. The host is going to be localhost most of the time, depending on your provider. The database name, that's where we got to go look into the file. Database name in this case is WordPress 1. So we're going to copy that like so. Oops, wrong thing. Paste. Username is root. Copy. Paste. In this case, we do not have a password, so then the next thing you do is test connection. As you see, everything's successful. You're going to go down to the bottom. You have read all that. Run deploy. Now remember, in the database, you got to make sure you do that remove part that I showed earlier before I press this begin part, because it's going to update everything, including your database, your login, your password, whatever you had set for that website, be that online or not. Review install reports, deploy 0, update 0, warning 0. That just shows you if you have any problems. Even if you do see a problem on this page, doesn't necessarily mean that your website's not okay. Now we're going to go back to the login. It still remembers me, so I didn't have to use my login info. So here's a web page. Everything's, I didn't even show you guys the beginning side of it, I'm sorry, but I should have showed you this side too, but I don't have nothing special on this. This is just for purposes of showing you guys how to do stuff. So now what you're going to do also is you're going to want to go, let's see, Here it'll say reserve duplicate install files have been detected in the root directory. So you want to take me to the cleanup page, just delete reserve files, delete legacy data, clear build cache. The reason I say that is if you don't delete those files, and I'm going to refresh this, make sure everything's good. You can also just go through here manually. See that install file disappeared, the install.php. If that's still on there and somebody runs that, they can reinstall your, say you made changes to your website or whatever, they can actually reinstall the same factory settings you had backed up, which that's a security problem. Not necessarily would they know all your database information and stuff to do that, but it is possible that you can get hacked. Now this file is the file that you uploaded, so if you have that backed up, you can just delete that out of there anyways, just to be a safety precaution. God forbid somebody find a way to get an install.php file in there and it pull that data. But basically that's all there is to using the duplicator. It's pretty simple, it's straightforward. The most complex part is just looking at the wp config.php. Again, you're going to want to use Notepad++ so you can actually read it. Otherwise, it'll be all jumbled up. I'll give you an example of what it looks like. If you look at it in anything else, it's, let's see. Let's say I go and open this with Notepad, for example. Regular Notepad, this is what it's going to look like. It's all jumbled up. It's almost impossible to read. Yeah, you can scroll back and forth all day and it's going to drive you nuts. But preferably, this is a lot better, as you can see, to actually read. Alright, that concludes this video for today. I hope this has been helpful. If you see this as being a helpful video and it's helped you out, can you please like this on Pro Stylers page, because I'm only posting this information up right now to Pro Stylers. Thank you, and you have a great day.